well, first of all, the difference is having a viral moment in a way, if you're not established, means nothing. Like, it's like you say, like, it means something, but it's like you say consistency. Like, people listen to you and people listen to me because we are here every damn day or every,
Yeah,
whatever
you have
your
to
schedule is.
replicate it. You have to be able to replicate whatever it is that goes viral. And
So,
we
right.
replicate it by talking about the things we love.
Right. And so it's like slow and steady wins the race. It's like, I mean, I appreciate my audience. I love them, but I mean, thank you. I'm great at what I do. I'm good. I'm interesting. There's nothing special about me. I mean, I have my own nuances, but I get up and I work. So if I just didn't produce new shows for like 3 months, I mean, there wouldn't be so like, I think people have a viral moment and they're like, people don't realize like they get off on it like as you should. Great, look at all your likes, look at all your comments, look at all your, but that is great. Now first of all, how much money did you make from that? Okay, $3, that's great. What are you gonna now, how is that gonna now translate into money? And that is such a hard, like, you're better off just chugging along like
Well,
we
that's why,
are.
like, what we do, we're casting the net. So when the fish do come, the nets are out. Like, your nets are out. You have something go viral. You might have people that catch up on a whole bunch of old episodes, and something
Mm-hmm.
takes off 10 years. I had something on YouTube take off 10 years after I made it, and I made $1,300. It wasn't much, but it was like I didn't expect it. Just like was
For
found,
doing nothing, yeah.
just came out of nowhere because something went viral. And that was like a soft viral, but yeah, it's like you just got to keep casting the net. We show up every day. We try to cast the net in the direction where we think the fish are. And even when you're like small, independent, you can still make your living and support your family. And then when you get to the bigger collar daddy levels, now you got the whole fishing vessel, the fleet. You got, you're scooping up, you're destroying the environment, you're catching all the fish. But there's like for those out there, looking at 2025, like wanting to take that leap in the net will appear. Like you can make a living doing this if you love what you do and work hard.
Yes, and here's a perfect example of what I was talking about and you were talking about. It's like Hawk Tuah girl. Like she out of nowhere was and it's like, okay, like you have a lot of eyes on her, remember? And she was like, doesn't she have a podcast now? But it's
Our
like,
podcast was crushing it. I don't know what percentage she gets out of that, but yeah.
so that's great. Now, granted, you got to show up and do the work, but also now I just saw something she's about to be sued for
So
millions
yeah,
and
I've been
millions of
covering
dollars.
this.
I don't, so
She
what's happening?
So Hawk Tuah girl, Haley Welch, she's so fascinating because I've covered her in with real good faith. Like I understand multiple things. She said something super crazy. Spit on my thing. Hawk Tuah. Like it was insane. This thing was like a cultural moment. It was the
And she
biggest.
wasn't trying, which that's the key. Like she wasn't
She was
trying
just
to have
being
a moment.
funny. She
Right.
was living in her, she's got her accent. She's from an hour south of me here in Tennessee. And she was able to realize after being morbidly embarrassed, she was able to realize like, oh, I can cash in on this. Joins, Logan Paul or what the other Logan, the other Paul, whatever, Jake Paul.
Aaron
She joins
Paul?
his no
Oh.
Jake Paul. She joins Jake Paul's company. They're the biggest YouTubers of all time, some of them. She joins his company and starts Talk Tua, and that does really well. And I'm sure she's making good money off of it, 5, 6 figure speaking deals. And but objectively, she's a really bad podcaster. She's new to it. She was catapulted to fame. So the goal for her is like, can I ride this out? And you're going to lose that huge following. You're going to lose that million people that check out. Like she got a million views on the first episode because people wanted to see. The next one, it goes down. You're going to lose that. But just know with 20,000 or 50,000 people that loyally follow you for the rest of your life, you're set. Like the 1,000 fan principle, you only need 1,000 people to buy a couple things from 20 things from you every year or $20 worth of stuff from you and you're good. But what happened was she does this Bitcoin thing, the talk coin or Hawk coin, whatever, and it's a complete scam like all these other celebrity coins are. And I don't think she understood how scammy it was. And since being exposed for insider trading, I doubt they're going to prosecute her for it. But since being exposed, she hasn't made a public statement. She's gone like underground the last like 10 days.
No
So
podcast?
I don't think so. At least none that had mentioned this. No social media. Like they've kind of put her like nothing she can do or say is gonna help with the anger that people have. And the people that are cover it, like CoffeeZilla, he's an investigative journalist on YouTube. He called it out right away. They made millions of dollars on these processing fees. They run the company through the Cayman Islands. Like Bitcoin's already sketchy enough. And what this like celebrity coin does, she made some state like y'all go better get on your talk coin, your Hawk coins, get ready, get your wallets out. I'm like, she has no idea what she's saying. She worked at a spring factory in Tennessee. She has no idea what she's saying right now, but they're telling her she's going to make millions. What she's learning the hard way is it's going to be off of somebody else. And I've been covering it because it's fascinating. I don't think it'll be the end of her, but I do think it's like flew too close to the sun. The whole Greek, mythology, your wax wings melt when you fly too close to the sun, you crash into the sea. So I do think it's what she has to learn is to like not trust everyone around her, because if you're like a management person and you see that the Hawk Tuah girl, that her podcast really isn't going to be that successful, and you see that it's already made its money, well, let's make another couple $1,000,000 out of the Hawk Tuah coin, and then we'll never hear from this girl again. So like you can't trust those. You got to be careful who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, yes, and yes. And even if the podcast was still going well, you need a plan. I mean, I don't know how often is it every day? Is it once a week? But regardless, like you need a plan. Like you even look at like, I don't know why look at very few celebrity podcasts work. Like, but you look at Cavallari, like you said, why is her so now I don't really listen to all these podcasts, but when you see the clips, she seems great. Like it's great. She's really honest. Like, why is Kristen so good at this? But like Teresa Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, hers ain't such a big hit. It's doing okay. It's hanging in there.
I think you get to a size where you have enough critical mass that it can like maintain itself. Like her PR people get her in Us Weekly every week for one thing or another. Because my podcast, Rush Hour, I cover whatever is big in the news, and every week she's
Cavallari's
dating a
that.
young guy. People like care about her. Put it this way, her export has been her love life, and she's still single. So her love life is still something people want to talk about. When that goes away, maybe there's other things they talk about, but it was huge when she was dating that young guy. It was huge when she broke up with him. Like it was, like she's big enough that she can get other big guests and it kind of fuels itself. Whereas some people, they don't really have a rudder or reason to be podcasting. Her reason, at least why people listen, is friendship, camaraderie, also whatever tea comes from hearing about her love life.
Right. Like she just had on Bobby Flay and she did a whole thing where like they're friends, but she's like, you slipped into my DMs. And
Bingo.
apparently he said, I'm going to be in Tennessee. Do you want to go to dinner? And she said she gave him this whole, how do I even know this by not listening to her podcast? It's like,
Same.
she said, listen, maybe you're not really my type or you're nice or whatever. And he's like, I literally am going to be in Tennessee and know no one. I just wanted to have a meal with you. Now, I don't really know if that's just what Bobby Flay wanted from this gorgeous Kristen Cavallari,
Oh, shoot
but
your shot.
sure. But yeah, no, this whole thing with Scott Disick that just happened where she was like, let me tell you why Scott Disick is an asshole. Like
And she
she,
knows, she knows her podcast. Let's say she gets 1,000,000 views, but when you sell an ad, you go, I got 1,000,000 views, but also you're going to get 1,000,000 clicks because I'm guaranteeing you're going to get in these 5 different gossip magazines. You're going to have a subreddit of 200,000 people talk about it. Like that's the world of impressions. So when you talk about like reunion episodes on Vanderpump, they know they need to bring it. Like Lala Kent has to bring it to guarantee the next season. Well, when it comes down to it, Kristen Cavallari can go, do I want to roast Scott Disick? Oh, it's going to make the news. Like she's incentivized to do that. And when that incentive is there, like if she was getting into the world of podcasting, that's like, don't give your story away. Don't give the goods away. Wait till you have control over it, whether it's a book. Like everyone writes a book, not because necessarily everyone reads a book, but because it's high. It's like on a podcast, right? I make on YouTube $10 for every 1,000 views. If I write a book, I'm going to make $10 on every book. So like your cost, the amount you can make per person skyrockets when you sell something tangible like a book or a Patreon. That's tangible enough. Like your ability to make more money goes up when it's not just the ad-based model. But if it's just the ad-based model, talk some shit. Anything attached to the Kardashians is